Ba, 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 da, 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 ha. What's up, everyone? It's me, Matt from Diazable, coming at you with another album review. And today we're checking out the band Guilt Trip with their album Severance. Now, this is a crossover hardcore band out from Manchester, UK. They've been a band since about 2016. They put out, I think, one album and a couple EPs, but this is their newest album they just dropped. And I wanted to check them out and everything because they're currently on tour with Malevolence and other bands right now, and I might check them out soon in Europe. So I've always wanted to check this band out. So wanted to do a quick review of them before I get a chance to see them, I guess. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting the song off, we got some really nice and nasty hardcore style guitar work. It's overall a slick and heavy song. Guitars have a lot of interesting tuning to them and whatnot. And they do a lot of interesting things like wailing on the guitar like a solo and playing very, very intensely. Vocals are very clear as day and have a bit of a tough feel to it. Solid opening track, but I do feel like they're saving the better stuff for later.
Even when you're gone, I'll tell them my religion's you and punctures.
The guitars here have a more crunchy tuning here, and the drums are very, very punchy and have some fun style to it. The drummer has a really interesting play style, I think. Vocals, I'm starting to notice and feel, are almost too clean. Like there's no real grit to his voice. Like he's coming in too good, as bad as that sounds. Like there's no weight to it. But then this is still too early on with the album, so maybe it'll change. Guitar solo in the background sounds really good. Very interesting choice to push it in the back instead of having it in the forefront. Drums at the minute and 50-second mark are really good. They sound really nice. Production and layering of the instruments is really good. And overall, the breakdown on this song is kind of just okay. So here's a clip of Surrounded by Pain. Now, do I sound crazy, but does he sound too clean? Let me know. I don't know. Here, the first thing I noticed is the guitar riff has a bit of a Marauder Master Killer vibe to it, so that was pretty nice. Nice stop and go playing with the guitars. Bass is adding a lot of heaviness to this song, so that's pretty nice. Intense and fast drumming, quite catchy, I would say. But I will say, this is the third song on this track, on this album. I'm noticing that the breakdowns have been very, like something I've noticed is just like the breakdown is kind of, and like this very familiar like play style. Like a lot of the songs are kind of sounding similar. Like I said on the previous track, I feel like the songs are starting to sound the same. They've got really great production. They're playing really tight, but they sound too similar. They're not very creative, it feels like, at least up until this point. We got some nice clean vocals on this particular song in the background and everything that adds some nice variety. The guest vocalist really helps to inject some life and some like sense of this is a different song, so that's really nice. Hard lyrics are nothing new here, but they do sound hard nonetheless. They got some good lyrics here. Here we have a nice interlude that's switching things up a bit with a slow and echoey style guitar. Reminds me of some like Pantera music for some reason. I don't know, like that groove southern style. Something about it reminds me of Pantera. Soft and slow drums enter in later with this song. Balances things out and whatnot. So we got some more hypnotic guitars in the second half of this song. It's a nice cleanser of a song, a nice palette change, and it does a really good job of being like a bridge between the A side and the B side of the record. So here's a little clip of Reaching Paradise. Very mesmerizing. We got some pummeling drums here that are really, really tight. lots of guitar pinches, and the vocals again sound too clean. We got heavy riffs and an actual heavy breakdown, but the song is good, but it lacks some kind of like raw energy, it feels like on paper it seems like a good song, but execution, yeah, it's just okay. It's all right. It's solid. I'll give it. It's solid. We got some fast and groovy and raw guitars here, particularly. There's a lot more passion here. Drums are fast and are in the pocket. Bass sounds really good. The vocalist, he sounds a little bit like the vocalist from Judiciary. Yeah, there's some similarity. I didn't realize I was wearing it at the same time. But yeah, the clean vocals are very clean, but in the right kind of way. They don't sound too bad. And the breakdown, this song, that's a breakdown, baby. They got it right on here. It sounds really good. Definitely the B side of this album has more variety and energy to it and more passion, it feels like. The creative juices are really flowing on this second half of the album. The guitars are more interesting, the drums sound better, and the patterns sound really good. Got some sick and groovy two-steps here. And then like the transitions in between everything, the breakdown and just overall the transitions in the song are very clean. The guest vocalist adds a lot of flair here. It just sounds sonically good, and the guitars and the drums are really in sync and everything. So here's a clip of the Gates. The vocalist just sounds like he's got something now, like he found it. Yeah, he found his voice. This band really loves, I think, what it's called guitar wails, that sound of like when they do a solo. It's on every song, and I would say for the most part it's good, but it's not overdone, but they place it at the right spots. It's fast and relentless here. Vocals seem a bit bland, but then we get some really good clean vocals. A bit buried in the mix, but it kind of sounds good. It's like a welcome change. It's not so high on the mix. The second time around, the clean sound much better on the chorus and everything. The kick drum sounds really good here, and we're getting some cool guitar like slides and everything. So overall, a well produced song, and just overall good song. This song particularly would have been my favorite song if it wasn't for one thing, and that is, I'll get to it later, but it starts off with some waves from the ocean coming in and everything that lead into some eerie, slow guitar playing. Clean and heartful vocals start next, and then it just gets like a hammer drop of heavy chugs and menacing drums with an interesting breakdown. And that's where my problem is. I thought it would have been good if it was just a clean track all the way through. The heavy part kind of just threw me off, and I kind of wish it didn't come in like that. I kind of wish it was just a more heartfelt, chilled song. So I don't think it's the best song, but yeah. There's a bass solo at the beginning of the song that's actually kind of sounding really low. Lots of experimental stuff in the second half of this particular song. Clean vocals and some weird guitar playing. Makes it more of a memorable song, and makes the album more interesting with this second half of this album, because they're doing a lot of different things. They're switching it up a lot, and it's nice. The riffs go hard here. The bass sounds better in the second half of the song, surprisingly, and then the first half. The breakdown sounds good with the extra guitar licks and everything. Solid song. We got an acoustic guitar track here with like a little bit of a country twang to it. Vocals go well and are mixed well on this track, I think. The drums are soft and chill. Bass adds a lot of weight to the song. I like that they went full acoustic and didn't just throw in some heaviness just to be heavy. They really leaned into the softness and the vulnerability here, and I think it pays off pretty well, because like the softness of the song is already heavy in a way that's not sonically heavy but emotionally heavy, and I think that does the song justice. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on this album from Guilt Trip, and they have a lot of raw, angry, pissed energy here, which is nice for crossover hardcore music. You want that, I think. And one thing that I really liked about this album particularly was the guitars. They sounded very interesting in terms of their playing. They sounded really crunchy and just very, very intense and just quite noticeable. You couldn't not oh wow, you just had to take notice of them because they sounded so good. The drums were probably the next best thing with how tight they were. They're interesting drumming and just They were really punchy sounding and whatnot. They had a good feel to it and everything. And even the bass had some good feel throughout this album and everything. And it just feels really good. Um, the production, good quality. They did a good job of mixing, mastering everything. Most things are layered pretty well. There's a few times where some things are buried, like drums or vocals and whatnot. But at those times, it kind of works well with the song. So good balance and whatnot. The vocals, particularly, I was not a big fan of him because for the first half of the album, he didn't sound like he had some grit to them. Like there was something missing. Like there was no, as weird as this, he had no voice. He sounded too clean, too squeaky, like bland and everything. But in the second half of the album, he definitely found a better voice that had some more anger and rawness to it. So that was a bonus. And another thing about A and B, the first half of the album all seemed too similar and kind of generic at times. It was made well, sounds good, but there wasn't much feeling and much trying to switch things up. There wasn't much passion. But after the interlude track in the middle and then the B side of this album, more interesting, more fun to listen to, better playing, different styles of playing with the guitars, the drums, and everything, and the vocals. They even got better. So I would say it's a very, I won't say night and day, but there's a noticeable difference between the A and B side of this album. So I think this album from UK's Guilt Trip is a decent to okay 8.5 out of 10. Now, links down below. Check out the band Guilt Trip. They're on tour right now with Justice for the Damned and Malevolence and Slinos. I can't pronounce that band name. But yeah, check them out and everything. I'm Matt from Diazable. Thanks for coming on by, and I will see you guys later. Bye.